Imagine a single streak of light across the night sky. A missile. In one fiery arc, it travels from one nation's territory toward another's. Before it even hits its target, a chain reaction has begun. Phones are ringing in the highest offices of power. Generals are scrambling to their command centers, and the world holds its breath. This isn't the opening scene of a Hollywood blockbuster. It's a scenario that military strategists and world leaders are genuinely worried about. The chilling question is, could a single missile launch ignite the next world war? Let's unpack this. The world today is a complex web of alliances, rivalries, and simmering tensions. A single act of aggression, whether intentional or accidental, could be the spark that sets the whole system ablaze. Think of it like a forest in a drought. All it takes is one carelessly tossed match. So, where are these geopolitical droughts? Where are the flashpoints so tense that a single missile could have catastrophic consequences? Let's start with a place many eyes are on, the Taiwan Strait. Here, we have a delicate and long-standing situation. Beijing views Taiwan as a renegade province that must eventually be reunified with the mainland, by force if necessary. The United States, on the other hand, maintains a policy of strategic ambiguity, meaning it doesn't explicitly state whether it would defend Taiwan, but provides the island with the means to defend itself. Now imagine a missile is launched. It could be a test that goes wrong, a miscalculation during a military exercise, or even a deliberate probe of defenses. If a Chinese missile were to strike Taiwanese soil, or even a U.S. naval vessel patrolling the strait, the pressure on Washington to respond would be immense. A failure to act could be seen as abandoning a democratic partner and a sign of weakness, potentially emboldening further aggression across the globe. But a direct military response against China could quickly spiral into a full-scale conflict between two nuclear-armed superpowers. The stakes are almost impossibly high. Every ship, every plane, every military drill in this region is a move in a high-stakes chess game, where one wrong move could mean checkmate for global peace. Let's shift our focus to Eastern Europe, where the conflict in Ukraine has already reshaped the geopolitical landscape. This is a hot war, happening right now. The fighting has been largely contained within Ukraine's borders, but the risk of spillover is ever present. What if a stray Russian missile, one of the many being launched at Ukrainian cities, were to malfunction and land in a NATO country like Poland or Romania? Article 5 of the North Atlantic Treaty is crystal clear. An attack on one member is an attack on all. If a Russian missile were to cause casualties on NATO soil, the alliance would be obligated to respond. The debate would immediately shift from if they should respond, to how would it be a diplomatic condemnation? More sanctions, or would it trigger a direct military retaliation against Russian forces? A tit-for-tat escalation could rapidly draw all 32 NATO members into a direct confrontation with Russia, a nation with the largest nuclear arsenal on the planet. Even an accidental launch could be misinterpreted in the fog of war, leading to a disastrous and rapid escalation that nobody truly wants. Now, let's journey to the Middle East, a region that has been a crucible of conflict for decades. The dynamics here are incredibly complex, involving state and non-state actors, ancient rivalries, and a web of proxy wars. The primary tension point involves Iran and its network of proxies versus Israel and its allies, including the United States. Imagine a missile launched by an Iranian-backed group in Lebanon or Yemen toward Israel. Israel's defense doctrine is built on decisive retaliation. A significant attack would almost certainly trigger a massive Israeli response, not just against the group that launched the missile, but potentially against its sponsor, Iran. If Israel were to strike targets inside, Tehran could retaliate by targeting U.S. bases in the region or attempting to close the Strait of Hormuz, a critical choke point through which a huge portion of the world's oil supply travels. Such a move would cripple the global economy and would almost certainly draw the United States directly into the conflict. A regional war involving Iran, Israel, and the United States would have devastating global consequences, sending energy prices soaring and creating shockwaves of instability that would be felt on every continent. In this volatile environment, a single missile can be the first domino in a long and terrifying chain. Finally, let's look north, to a region once thought to be a pristine, frozen wasteland, the Arctic. As climate change melts the ice, it's opening up new shipping lanes and access to vast, untapped resources of oil, gas, and minerals. Suddenly, the high north has become a new frontier for geopolitical competition. Russia has been heavily militarizing its Arctic coastline, reopening Soviet-era bases and deploying advanced weapon systems. Other Arctic nations, like the US, Canada, and Norway, are also increasing their military presence. The potential for miscalculation here is growing. What happens when a Russian submarine and a US destroyer have an unexpected encounter under the ice? What if there's a dispute over a newly accessible shipping lane or a rich mineral deposit? Imagine a scenario where a missile is fired in a dispute over territorial claims. It might not even be aimed at a military target, but but an economic one, like a drilling platform. How would the other nations respond? Unlike the other flashpoints, the Arctic doesn't have the same established mechanisms for de-escalation. The rules of the road are still being written, and this ambiguity makes the region uniquely dangerous. A conflict here could quickly draw in multiple NATO members and Russia, turning a competition for resources into a military showdown at the top of the world. So, could a single missile launch start a world war? The unsettling answer is yes. It's not just about the missile itself, but the context in which it's launched. In an environment of deep distrust, heightened military readiness, and hypernationalism, the line between a limited incident and an all-out war is terrifyingly thin. Modern warfare happens at the speed of light. Algorithms and AI are increasingly involved in threat detection and response, shortening the time for human decision. A misidentified radar blip, a software glitch, or a misinterpreted signal could lead to a retaliatory launch before anyone has time to verify the facts. This is the nightmare scenario, an accidental war, started by a machine, that humans are powerless to stop. The path to preventing this future isn't easy. It requires robust diplomacy, clear communication channels between adversaries, and a commitment to de-escalation. Treaties and arms control agreements, which have been fraying in recent years, need to be strengthened. We need leaders who prioritize stability over posturing. The world is on a knife's edge. The same technology that connects us also gives us the power to destroy ourselves with horrifying speed. That single streak of light across the sky is a powerful symbol of our modern dilemma. It represents both incredible technological achievement and the potential for ultimate catastrophe. The challenge for our generation is to ensure that we choose cooperation over conflict, and that the next world war remains firmly in the realm of fiction. Thanks for watching. If you found this exploration thought-provoking, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into the forces shaping our world. Stay curious, and stay safe.